count us down and good. We're live. Okay, everyone, this is a live-a-thon. I've got 7 interviews. I did 0 prep, which is why it's called No Prep Needed. I love that. And this is how you do an interview when you don't know someone, because it's all about the focus of who is James Foster. And you know what? After this, I bet you James and I are going to be like the closest friends ever. James Foster, welcome to No Prep Needed. How are you?
Thank you so much. This is going to be fun. I'm excited.
You're brave, you're bold, and you're brilliant to do this, because not everyone says yes to opportunities like this. Right?
It's fun. Let's do it.
Okay. So first, James, I have to have you introduce yourself because I don't know who you are. So who are you?
Yeah, my name's James Foster. I basically work with coaches and experts and agencies sometimes about creating royalties from their work that they've already created. You know, a lot of experts and coaches, they create a lot of different courses to help different people. And, you know, you can only focus on so many things at once. It's normally the latest thing you've created. I tend to work with the stuff that you created earlier, the products that maybe you're just kind of collecting digital dust. And I help experts get those out into the world and get them into other people's flow so other people can sell them for them as opposed to them having to do it themselves.
Okay, so I'm 61 years old. I've been in business for, grew up in a family business, 35 years, have my own business for 9 years. Never thought of royalties and something that you could sell. So give me, like, do you have a case study of what that really looked like for someone?
Sure. I mean, there's lots of different things. If we want to go super popular that everyone will know, we can think of, say, J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, right? So writing Harry Potter made her famous. The royalties from Harry Potter made her rich. You could say the same thing about George Lucas. Star Wars made him famous. The royalties from Star Wars made him rich. So there's going to be a lot of scenarios where, like, a great example is combining two things you wouldn't they go together, but they're complementary, but you wouldn't think they go together. Like an example would be one of our royalty rock stars was a Fit Pro, right? It helps coaches and coaches fitness programs. He teamed up with a supplement company, a fitness supplement. So naturally, when they came together, they've created a bundle, and the supplement company, who had all these customers coming in left and right, now they created this bundle that they could sell. So not only did they get the supplement, they got the training course with it, and that was, of course, at a higher price. So there was a higher margin, and that way, of course, the supplement company made more money because the info product cost basically nothing, right? So they had that benefit. But another benefit was that with this fitness product included, people knew what to do more. They didn't just have the supplement, they knew how to use it. They would use it more because they were also doing the exercises. So the supplement company also made more because people were using the supplement more. Instead of ordering it once, it sat there and never got used, like most fitness equipment or supplements or things. Now these people were actually using it. And of course, and then if you go to the Fit Pros side, he had the benefit of he was getting all these buyers all into his audience. He got their names and email addresses, and of course, they already knew him, liked him, and trust him because he was part of this package that people had already bought. So it was really easy when he got these people into his world to sell them the more expensive things that he has, the personal training or the group coaching, those kinds of things, because they made this kind of connection and did effectively licensed their two products together.
Okay, so this is so interesting to me because when you're looking at it, I think of royalties, movies and all, dolls, and my parents have a toy museum and all the toys have royalties to it. But you're saying the average person could actually work with you and have whatever it is. Would it be a book? Would it be a speech? It would be products, like you're saying, and then you help them to create a royalty package.
Yeah, essentially. So, yeah, we have the community, royaltyrockstars.com. We like to think of it as that's the talent, right? If you have a course, if you've created a book or a series or something, you're the talent. In Royalty Rockstars, you can work with other people who maybe have similar audiences that you can sell their product, they can sell your product. And we also have people in there who also want to work like an agent. They will take your product and they will go out and find people who will sell it for you. Like the people between, say, a board game and Walmart, right? The one who gets the board game into Walmart, that kind of scenario. So yeah, there's lots of different ways that this can work.
Would I be wrong if I thought of royalties as kind of like a commission?
There you go. That's a very good question. So if I take a step back, what I think you might be asking about, and if this is something your audience would be familiar with, is what's the difference between licensing and affiliates? More people are familiar with affiliate marketing than they are with licensing, for example. And the difference is going to be really your focus. So if you have the product, right, and it's that product is your focus, it's your main baby, you are probably going to want to stay in control as much as possible of the marketing, of the message being put out there. That's generally a situation where you're going to want to use affiliates, and affiliates are going to get commissions. And that way you stay in control. You know exactly, like I was saying, what the message is, what they're saying. The only downside of it is that affiliate promotions tend to be kind of one off, and also focus on the commission. So somebody might come in and promote your product for a day or a week or maybe a month. Maybe they do a webinar with you. That's great and that's fantastic, but it is pretty much going to be focused on the commission. They're kind of in, they're kind of out, and they go on to the next product. Whereas where I work with the people I work with in licensing, it's more focused on a specific problem. Your audience has a problem that maybe you don't address, just something related to it, not your focus. And so you might work with somebody else who does have that focus. So I work in the B2B space a lot, in a lot of the online marketing space. So say somebody has a course on how to run Facebook ads, and the people who buy that course, they learn to run Facebook ads and they do great, but they might not exactly then know how to convert them. They might not know how to write a landing page or how to write email sequences. So it would make sense for that person who has the traffic product to work with somebody who can fill that other gap for them, that conversion. So it's about solving the problem, another problem that the same customer is going to have in licensing. And it's more of a long-term situation, because if you're selling this product about traffic, people that keep coming in are always going to have the problem with conversion. It's not going to be a one-time thing. It doesn't necessarily make as much sense to promote one conversion course and then another conversion course and then another conversion course. You probably, if you want to do the most for your customer, is you're going to find the best one possible and you're going to continually promote that. And that's the kind of case that licensing is going to make more sense. The reason for it is you have this traffic course. They're your customers. You've done all this work to build them up. And it's going to make sense that you would want to keep them as customers instead of an affiliate promotion where you're going to give them your customers. If you have a licensing setup, you can work it out so you keep your customers, and you can also set it up. The splits don't have to be just 50-50. The more work that you're willing to do or put into it, the more of the profits you can get. I love to do deals where I give away 90% of the profit, where my clients just have to fulfill. They just have to make sure the customer gets their login and get the product that they've bought. I love giving away 90% of the profits, because what that means for me is that client is doing 90%, is doing all the work, right? So they're doing all the work, they're doing all the marketing, they're going to probably tweak the copy, the positioning, so it makes sense to their audience, and they're doing all of that. So I am happy to give them 90% of whatever the sales price is, and just take a little bit that Mariah Carey, that she wrote the Christmas album 20 years ago, and still makes however much every year, every Christmas from it, from that other work, because other people the radio stations are promoting it. They're getting it out there. They're doing all the real work. She just recorded it however many years ago and is still collecting. So that's kind of the big difference. One is either going to be in and out, collect the money. licensing is going to be solving a problem, and it's going to be a longer term with licensing as opposed to a shorter term with affiliates. It's neither a right or wrong, it's just whatever is appropriate for the situation.
Amazing. So, okay, so here's the question for you. Who have you
Mhm.
said no to? I want to hear where you said, nice idea, nice try, but not for me. We're not doing royalties for whatever that is. What would that look like?
So that that's a lot of different questions wrapped into one. So if it's me personally, as far as if I'm going to take on a client, then one, it has to be in kind of the marketing business to business world. I just don't have the connections in the fitness world or music world or other industries. Another thing is a lot of people will come to me with a brand new idea, a brand new offer, and those are great and they could very well be home runs, but they could also be flops, right? So for me, it's important that an offer has already been tested, that they already have a customer base, people already like the offer, and of course their customers are getting a result. So yeah, if it's a new offer, is generally a no for me, and if it's not in the marketing world, is generally a no for me. Now that doesn't mean I can't refer them to somebody who can help them. It's just that just wouldn't be my ideal client.
Amazing. So I wrote a book. It's not my secret to share. And so if I think of my book, I would continue getting royalties from like Amazon, correct?
Yep, that'd be the same type of situation. Yep, you're
So
putting it
same
in
time.
someone
Okay,
else's
so
distribution that. Mhm.
that's how well, okay. So this is so interesting. So what even made you go into this? Like, what were you doing? What does your resume look like that all of a sudden you're just like, I'm going to do royalties and start a business? Like, how did that go for you?
Sure. It's kind of in retrospect, it's been winding, but it has kind of led to this. Um, I'll try to make it quick, but back when I was 25, I'm 40 now. So back when I started on the internet, I quit my job at a nice safe bank, and because I wanted to go to Vegas for my birthday, they didn't want to let me go because my birthday is around the holidays. Anyway, I quit the job, came back, went online, had to figure out how to make some money. So I got into this whole how to market online kind of world. Eventually, kind of stumbled into creating some info products, made some friends around that world, and eventually got into the what is now what the fulfillment by Amazon world, where people will buy products, ship it into Amazon, and sell it that way. I happened to took a course on that, and there was a process that they were doing at the time that was manual. It took a lot of time. You had to go sift through tons of listings to figure out what products were selling well but didn't have a lot of competition. It just there's thousands of products on Amazon, so it just took a lot of manual labor or time. You could either do it yourself or hire a virtual assistant to do it. I went the other route. I went to what is now Upwork and had somebody create some software that would do it for $300. 300 bucks, had the software, started using it, worked great, realized that it wouldn't take anything off of my plate if I let other people use it as well. So from there, I didn't know anybody or didn't have any connections in that world. I sent a few cold DMs to people who were already in selling products in that fulfillment by Amazon world, told them what I had. One of them said it sounded great. We wound up being creating a little partnership. So it worked out really well. We created the six-figure, I call it a micro SaaS, that the partner did all of the marketing, all the selling of it. The person who created the software, I didn't create the software. I spent about an hour a month running the reports that people got as the actual service, and that was about it for a six-figure business and all of my time. So that was a big aha for me, that I could kind of that there was money to be made that didn't require a whole lot of work, and I could kind of put the pieces together to make these things happen, because a lot of people just don't like to do that kind of outbound legwork. Now, I know you're a really outgoing person, so that would probably be right up your alley. But so many people, especially in the internet world, would prefer to sit behind the computer and not mess with a whole lot of people personally. So I was fine doing that, so that worked out. So that was my first success, and I just kind of gone from there and parlayed that into one thing, another things, and yeah, the kind of theme has been this recurring either licensing or royalties that was leveraged. I love leverage. I steal the quote from Sean Vossler, another marketer, but he says, "I'm lazy and I like big margins." And I kind of agree with that. That is what I prefer to have as well. So that is the kind of deals I like to create or find or work with.
So James, I'm thinking right away in my mind, I'm thinking the risk, the challenges. What if all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden the company says, no, we're not paying royalties anymore? Or goes out of business. Could that happen? And then all of a sudden there's no more royalties?
Yeah,
What,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, businesses go out of places go out of business all the time. I like to think of things just like people, right? Businesses are essentially people, and people, when you're forming a relationship, you generally go on dates, right? So I will do a first date with somebody, something very small, you know, it might even just be a matter of making sure they keep a time frame. They say they're going to show up at a certain time. If we have a meeting, if they don't show up and don't call, then that's probably not a good sign. Or we have something, oh, you're going to write, I'll write this email for you, you're going to send it on this date. Okay, perfect. They don't send it on that date, or there's an excuse as to why it didn't happen. Again, not a good sign. So I think of things in a series of dates. You do something small, maybe do something a little bigger, and then eventually you have the long-term relationship. Working with that and staying to those kind of restrictions, boundaries, however you want to call it, that's kept me pretty safe most of the time. There's of course always going to be situations where people for whatever reasons have things come up, and if they communicate, it can normally be worked out. But if they just ghost and all of a sudden you stop getting royalties, yeah, it does happen. But it's kind of you find out who that person is, and if you're ever asked what it's like working with that person, you just say, hey, my experience is they don't keep their agreements. And so that's a long way of saying it can happen. I find it more productive to flip the coin again, right? You flip a coin once, it comes up tails. You flip the coin again, it comes up heads. If you want heads, just keep flipping the coin, especially if you have more reward than risk. The risk with licensing is very little. If you set up an agreement and they don't do anything, well, you're not really out anything except a little time. If they do something for a while and then cut you off, well, you find out what kind of person that is. But generally, they do it. They keep up their end of the bargain, and you have the upside of those royalties. So to me, the benefits outweigh the risk.
James, so incredible. But so you gave a couple tips here. You have a strategy that every business actually should use. The old saying, the customer is always right, really is not good for a business person. So what I heard is that you're in essence saying, as a business, you also, it's a two-way street. And so if you're working with your client and your client is not being compliant, they're not giving you what they need, they're making promises and they're not keeping, they're not credible, even though maybe everything you've seen and for the first week. And once you make sure that there's not something health wise or something personal going on, and that maybe they're just sloppy or complaining all the time, they're too busy, so then maybe they're too busy for what you need to work with them. But this is something that really is not discussed a lot. But I think as a business owner, it makes sense. It's okay to say to your client, it's just not working out because the direction is not going in the same flow. And if you're both going different directions, this is what I hear. Am I correct in what you were saying?
No, yeah, I absolutely. There are
Amazing.
going to be times when you're going to come to somebody and say, "This is my situation. This seems to be your situation. We either have to figure something out, or this doesn't work."
I love it. I love it. I mean, I've been in that position before, and I think when you set things up in the beginning, it makes and the processes are set up. It really does help. But I really appreciate your telling me this because it's an interesting challenge that I wouldn't necessarily think, and I'm so blown away by the whole idea of royalties. Like I've never heard of it before. Are there a lot of people like you that are actually in the royalty business?
It depends on the market. I haven't seen a whole lot of it in the coaches and expert space. You look into things like sports and television, of course, movies and physical products. Then there's a whole lot more of it. Intellectual property, it often gets done by lawyers, and they try to make it seem very, very complicated, which it can be. You might need a lawyer, you might not. It totally depends on the situation, but I think a lot more people could be doing it and should be doing it.
Oh, my dog is barking, so I'm going to let him out. So excuse me, everyone. Thank God I'm wearing pants. This is a good thing. Oh, he's got that. Okay. So, it's live, so the dogs. I can't put the.
You're live.
But I love this. Okay, so thank you because I was thinking copyrights, trademarks. You probably have to explain a lot of intellectual property and what that looks like for someone interested in this. So, okay. So how does someone reach you? What are the first steps and what should they do to prepare? Because I'm thinking if I was going to meet with you, I would need like a guideline of what you would want and then what I would need to prepare for you to even say, you know what, Adrian, you've got something here.
Well, most of the people that I work with have a lot of the groundwork already done. Like I said, I work with coaches and experts a lot of times, or marketing agencies. So they already have the intellectual property. They've already created something. Now, protecting it, that I can't go into a whole lot of, just because that is legal stuff. For the most part, people, if you've created something, it's going to be protected by copyright. Trademarks and whatnot, that's kind of a whole different thing as far as like brand names and brands. That's a whole lot of hoopla. I stay away from that. But if you create something like a book, that is just inherently copyright, and that is your copyright. So you get to do what you want with that. There are, of course, lots of situations where I am wrong, and don't take any legal advice from me whatsoever. But that is relatively the most general view on it. So they already have something that they're doing. And like I said, I will personally work with people who have already sold it. So they already have an audience. They already know the marketing for it and know who it's being sold to. So I luckily get in the situation where they have a lot of the pieces put together. And then it's just a matter of finding complementary parties or softwares that can use this. It really comes down to solving their customers' problems. So for me, that's most of it. If you already have an established business, if you already have an offer that's working and you're selling it, you probably have 95% of the pieces in place.
Can I get your elevator speech?
I don't know that I necessarily have one. Royalties. That's kind of what I say. I work with clients who have courses and products that it's not their main focus anymore. And I will put them into situations where the creator can collect royalties instead of having to sell it onesie twosie anymore.
All right, good. That's good. And then where are you located?
I am up in Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Okay. It'll get warm there pretty soon. I'm sure.
Hence the hoodie. Yeah, we have hoodie weather and we have t-shirt weather. It's hoodie weather now.
I'm Daytona Beach. I love it. Do you have a staff working with you?
We have a small team. We're all remote. So it's me, my partner, and we have a couple other people who work with us in Royalty Ronins. Yeah, or Royalty Rockstars, I should say.
I love it. I thank you so much for coming on the show, because I feel like this is something that's so different, so unique. So I'll have you, now that we met, I'll have you send me your information, your headshot, and however you want me to promote. And then I will put that together. So the live will also turn into a podcast. I love that you were brave and bold, but your stuff. And so I think that really is important. Do you have anything else that you want to mention? Do you have a book, an offer, anything that we can help you promote?
If people want to go to royaltyrockstars.com, that is the free community. And like I said, if people have courses or things like that they would like to turn into royalty payments that get other people to promote them for it, that is a great place to meet others. I'm in there, of course, if they want to reach out to me, and there'll be other people who can also help them get that out there. Or if people want to find me at social, on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, my handle is always James Makes Deals.
Oh,
So
I
you
love
can
it.
find me there.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for saying yes to the live. I really learned
Well,
something new
thank
today.
you.
I really love this. James, I want your
Thank
information
you.
too. I think that I want to share it with a lot more people. So thank you so much for being
We'll stay in
on. And
touch.
I look forward. Yes, yes, we're friends now. And I have a friend in Minnesota, and you have a
Absolutely.
friend here in Daytona Beach. Come for NASCAR.
Perfect. I
We
like
drive
it.
on the.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day. Everyone, we have more
You
coming
too.
up on No Prep Needed. James, admit it. We didn't meet, right?
We
We did
hadn't
not
met.
meet
I've
before.
never talked to you before.
No, I
No.
never even Googled you. Now I'm going to Google the heck out of you. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll
Thank
end
you.
the stream
See ya. Bye.
now. Perfect. Thank